And good evening. I'd like to welcome you to yet another edition of Talking with Forest Park, the fall edition. I'm very fortunate to have with us at the roundtable, of course, City Manager Ray Hodges. Ray, glad you could join us again.
Glad to be back with you, Jason.
And of course, we are never without guests here and bringing some great new people to the table. Business owner and the executive director of the Underground, Mike Vollette.
That's right. Well, thanks for having me here.
This is kind of like a meeting of the minds today. Everyone's meeting for the first time, but of course, the Underground has been pretty much a staple in Forest Park for a number of years, correct?
Right. It's been there for a number of years. I visited the Underground before, but it's been a little while, and I had a chance to communicate with Mike and didn't have a chance to meet him. I thought it was a great opportunity to, one, meet him, but also let him share with the community what is the Underground and where's the Underground. It's a valuable asset in the community. So, Mike, welcome to the show today. And why don't you tell us just a little bit about the Underground, and then we might have a few questions to ask you.
It's definitely not Forest Park's hidden subway system.
It is not. We are right there, right off the highway off of Smiley Avenue. You can see us from 275. We've been there now 10 years, celebrating our 10th anniversary, where we've had tens of thousands of people come through our doors.
Now, what's the official address?
Yeah, the official address is 1140 Smiley Avenue, right there. And honestly, there is no other place we want to be than Forest Park.
Well, that's a good question, great start-off question. Obviously, you could have chosen anywhere you wanted to go. You chose Forest Park as your hub. Why so? Why Forest Park? What was the intrigue?
Yeah, I think, well, it came before I was there.
Absolutely.
But you know, I'll tell you that the visibility right there on the highway, all the thousands of cars that go by, also just the support of the community, the businesses. It's just been a really, I think it's right in a good hub too, with other cities. So
when people do think of the Underground, you know, like I said, I just kind of kidded, you know, that it is not the hidden subway system. But what, if you were to describe the Underground in a nutshell, what would you say it is for all viewers who aren't certain? They may have seen it by going by the Starbucks, because I'm sure they have.
Right. They go by the Starbucks, and a lot of people turn around in our place. But what we're about storytellers. Storytellers for teenagers. So we, ever since we got started, it's always been about the teenager, providing them with a safe place where they can come and hang out on the weekends, even during the week. We've got programs. And the storytelling comes through them telling their story through music and media. Teenagers, we're all impacted by a good song and a good story of a movie. And so what better way than to engage teenagers in that? And so a teenager can come to the Underground on a Friday or Saturday night, hang out. Parents can feel great about it. It's safe. We provide our own security. We have standards that everybody needs to follow. We've got bands that'll come. We work with about 120 bands a year, mostly regional, mostly teenagers, some good, some not so good, but we don't care. What we want to do is give them a platform, a place to tell their story through music. And then our media program, what that's all about is giving teens an opportunity to tell their story through that medium, where we've got about 150 teenagers in our media program. Oftentimes the teens are behind or in front of a camera. And so we bring all those together on a Friday and Saturday night, where the film students are filming what's going on in the venue, and then it's streaming live from our website.
I was just going to say, what is that outlet? Obviously, once you gather that information, we're very familiar with being able to take what we gather and put it out via our website and cable. Where is your outlet then?
Right. Our outlet is, it's digital, it's mobile. It's, the outlet is coming to the Underground, experiencing it there, but also online. You can go to our website, theug.com. And you can experience there live, or we've had it recorded, and that's another way to experience it. Plus, through social media, we do quite a bit through that as well.
And obviously, you've expanded via the social media. I mean,
Yeah.
everything, Twitter, Facebook, grows and grows.
It
through
grows.
That. So it's probably helped you exponentially.
It has a ton. We used to do a TV program that was just great. It was called the Zone TV show, but we realized that we weren't really hitting our target audience. That really what teens are doing is it's all on their phone or it's online, and so we switched and moved over to more of an online platform to where teens where they are. And so anytime there's something new when it comes to social media, we're on it, trying to communicate and connect with our target audience.
Ray, you look like you were busy to ask a question. I
Yeah,
jumped right in.
I just wanted to double check then, because I recall seeing something about the zone, and of course now we're talking about the underground. So for the audience benefit and my, describe again, what was the zone? Is the zone still around, or is it all the underground now?
Right. Well, we're one brand now. We used to, we came together 10 years ago with two organizations, and that's when we did a big capital campaign in Forest Park, at our existing location, raised about $1.3 million in 9 months, completely gutted that out, and it used to be the Discovery Zone, if you recall.
That's right.
For little kids. So as a side note, what's awesome is we're getting high school kids now, or parents saying, "Oh my gosh," they're looking around. They're like, "We were here when our kid, when I was smaller, when our kids were," and now they're experiencing it in a new way. And so what we've done, so we did that 10 years ago, and the Zone TV show was awesome. It was on Channel 9, but really we had to evolve. We had to evolve with the teens. It was more adults kind of doing the work of the show. And we realized that what teens want today is to own what they're doing. We need to give them a hands-on experience. And so now you'll have 25 or 20 teens there on a Saturday night behind a camera, and they're producing it, they're hosting, they're MCs, they're doing all that, and the reason we have an adult there is to make sure the place doesn't burn down. You wouldn't believe the ideas that they get. So we decided that we didn't want it to be confusing about the underground and zone. So we combined them together and say that music and media is equally important, because we're all about impacting the lives of teens. Number one fear of teens is not having a purpose. And then I would say and add that another thing that is a negative or fear of teens is feeling like they don't have a story, or a story that matters. And so we're saying, hey, you do matter. Come to the underground. It's a place where you can be yourself. Whether you love music or media, it's just a great, safe place to be, get connected with your friends, and to learn a trade.
And again, you've seen it as you go by on 275, or you do the turnaround at Starbucks, but you do see a lot of musical venues coming up, and there's always a rotating a roster, always. What is the appeal? What brings them to the underground, obviously?
Yeah, one of the things that Forest Park probably doesn't know that a lot of people outside know, excuse me, and that is we are the premier venue in the country. We have become, over time, have this great reputation of a place for a great concert. We can hold 1,200 people in our venue, and about 6 times a year we sell out. So not only do we do what we call local nights, where teens can come and hang out and listen to their peers play great music, but about once a month we'll do what we call a national show. That's a band that has a signed contract. And so, like Switchfoot, a national band, came through. We had 1,200 people, and so it's also impacting the economy. The stores around the underground as well. And so, I think to your point, why it's so great is that it's the facility. It's a great facility. It's great sound. We upgraded the sound and the lighting, and also we have a great staff and 45 volunteers who serve. We're a nonprofit organization, and that's so sometimes with these concerts, especially the national, it's a great source of income for us. But we have a great dedicated staff, and that is what the bands love. And we get people really all over the region and out of the state that come to a concert and will stay in the local hotels, go to Starbucks and restaurants because of the underground.
That's good to hear and Ray's perspective, because we like to make sure that everybody stays and goes to the area as well. So being a one-stop area to help you and also to help our city is a wonderful thing. Of course, we're running a little low because we are going to be bringing somebody else on. We like to get everybody in here on the show. But I always like to ask new people that come in, and
Sure.
you know, you've talked about your beginning tenure from when you started 9 years ago up to today. If you were to be able to look at that crystal ball, you've already made some changes already.
Right.
Let's take a look in the crystal ball and go 5 years out. What would you like to see the underground become the next time we have you sitting here at the round table?
Oh, that is a great question. What we want, we have 35,000 people come through our doors every year, 22,000 of which are teens. I think what we want to do is help more and more teens to understand that they matter. That regardless of who they are, regardless of a mistake or their background, that we want them to come into the underground, look them in the eye, and say that we love and accept you, and how can we help you with what we have. And so we want to do that, and we would love to take what we do outside of the walls of the underground. And maybe we get calls from all over the United States about duplicating what we do. And so I think that would be great to do that. But serving more people, more teens would be ideal.
A truly no judge zone.
No judge zone. That's right.
Now, Mike, I know you brought a couple of flyers or documents, and I think it'd be good to maybe show it to the audience here, kind of let them know what you got, and you brought them for a purpose, and I want to give you a chance to comment on them.
Well, that's great. Well, our website is a great place to learn more about us. And also, anytime anybody wants to come over, we're there from 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. But then Friday and Saturday, we're open until 11:30. So we invite parents and anybody from the community to come and see what we do. But this just is a brochure that we would give you when you come. We do film camps in the summer, teaching teens the art of filmmaking, television production. And then this is a flyer. We're almost done with our national concerts. We've got a great one coming up on December 5th with 10th Avenue North. And so that should be a sellout. We should have about 1,200 people there. So
again, the website, theug.com.
You got it.
And for those who would like to get some more information, they can always go there. Of course, they can always stop by. If they're picking up their coffee, they can always go and pick up some information as well.
Absolutely.
Mike, thanks for joining us. Greatly appreciate it. It's always wonderful to be able to talk with everybody here, especially a thriving business here within the city.
Well, it's my pleasure to be here, and thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you. And, of course, we'll be joining you right back with Wright Gwyn from the Environmental Awareness right here next on Talking with Forest Park.
Join us for the Forest Park City Council meetings every first and third Monday on Time Warner Cable, Channel 23.
Our honorees, Sue Smith and Peggy Williams, were instrumental in the success of many of those projects. It is our privilege to share their accomplishments with you today. First, speaking on behalf of Peggy and her accomplishments will be the Mayor of Forest Park, Chuck Johnson. followed by Chuck. I'm going to introduce everybody at one time, so we thought it would save, time coming up and back and forth. After Chuck will be Councilman David Lives, and then Rita Alexander, who is co-president of our Forest Park Gardeners. So, Mr. Johnson, you have the podium.
People like Peggy and Sue, who worked, like many others, diligently to make sure that the forest stays in Forest Park. There was a newsman by the name of Tom Brokaw once said, "It's easy to make a buck. It's a lot tougher to make a difference." Peggy Williams did better than that. She made a difference. She especially made a difference in Forest Park. In 1956, Peggy and her husband Mel moved into their new home in the village of Forest Park. They quickly became active in the community, being in attendance at the dedication of Founders Park. Peggy and Mel were busy not only raising 3 children, but also in shaping and beautifying the new community and making a difference. In 1967, Peggy made a difference by helping to form the Civic Beautification Committee, which became the Beautification Conservation Commission in 1985. This organization is still active today. Again in 1967, Peggy made a difference by entering the Beautification Committee in the Ohio Association of Gardeners Clubs, Sears Roebuck Civic Beautification Contest. They won the top award in the state of Ohio that year. In 1967 and 68, she was named Forest Park Citizens of the Year, and in 1987, she won an Outstanding Woman, a competition hosted by the Forest Park Living magazine. She made another difference in 1977 when she began her employment with the city, serving as the Community Services Officer. 10 years later, she retired 10 years to the day in 1987. Over the years, Peggy made a difference playing many different roles. She was a tree planter, a volunteer coordinator, newsletter editor, public relations communicator, an unofficial historian and archivist. It's tougher to make a difference. Today, we want to thank Peggy Williams for the differences that she's made in Forest Park, and to say to her, Peggy, Forest Park wouldn't be green, it wouldn't be forest without you. Thank you very much for all you've done for Forest Park, and we want you to know that we appreciate you, and we're glad to be part of this honor to you.
I'm actually the city manager. I got a promotion. But reality, I'm councilman. His name is David Lives. Ray Hodges, who really is the city manager, unfortunately couldn't make it today, but he gave me the honor of standing in for him. So the words I'm passing to you are pretty much what Ray had written out and what I remember from the years I've been in Forest Park. Yeah, especially Ray wanted to thank Peggy and Sue for the years that they've dedicated to the city for all of the things they did. I should add quickly something he didn't put in there, but I asked Ray for a little bit of history on Peggy, and what he gave me is about 55 pages. So I'll start with page 1 if that's all right with you. No, we'd be here more than an hour. We'd be here probably the rest of the week. But it's fascinating. I'll turn these over to the club. There's full of photographs, articles, and a lot of interesting things in here. So I guess I won't do that one. Peggy went door to door in 1965, collecting money to plant trees along Northland Boulevard. Her efforts led to 78 trees planted in that location. She also helped organize the art contest, and now every June at least you can see people out straightening out their yards. I even get out with my wife, and she gives me directions on where to plant the flowers. They can be seen from the street possibly. And I can't tell you, I was a judge on the art contest for many years, and it really gives you a thrill to see folks so excited when they get that flag. The one year, I have to tell you, I played a trick. I put one in my yard, and it was not a very good yard at all. My neighbor came over and asked me how I got that thing. Well, you got to know somebody. But overall, I think it's a fantastic idea. It makes the city look beautiful, and it makes the neighbors sometimes look over at the next house and go, hey, I better make mine look like that. And a lot of people honor and keep those flags. I've been to houses where they've got them posted in their garage and that type of thing. And we have Peggy to thank for the art contest. We also had the slogan to help put the forest in Forest Park. And in reading through this history, Peggy and Sue are instrumental in making the city a park-like atmosphere, and it still is beautiful when you see all the flowers that are planted. I think it gives the residents the encouragement to plant and grow things. So the city manager wanted me to be sure to thank you and Sue for everything you've done and continue to make Forest and Forest Park. So thank you all very much.
My pleasure to share the following journey of Peggy and the Forest Park Gardens. The club got off to an auspicious beginning when the name of the club was chosen. The following is taken from an article in local newspaper. When the girls of the new residential section in Forest Park decided to organize a garden club, they first thought of calling it the Hoe and Hope Garden Club. After some discussion, they voted to name the club the Hopeful Hoers. That, you must remember, this was 56 years ago when ladies wore hats, gloves, and high heels, and certain things were never mentioned in polite society. I think you get the picture. Consequently, if the name Hopeful Hoers raised a question in the mind of any member, she would never have admitted it. The minutes of the next meeting simply stated the name of the garden club has been changed to the Forest Park Gardeners, and so it remained for 56 years. With the garden club in full swing, Peggy began her journey as a member of the club. I found this quote and immediately thought of her. This quote states, "There is no key to happiness, the door is always open." The door to Peggy's heart was always open, and to her home, to family, friends, and community. Peggy never lost her enthusiasm from the time she joined Garden Club to her last year as an active member. She always made new members, as well as a veteran member, feel they were included in every project the club undertook. Peggy served as president of the Garden Club in 1969, 1988, 1989, 1996, and 1997, and has served in every other elected office numerous times, as well as chairman of every committee in the club. For example, the Budget Committee, Civic Beautification, Ways and Means, Historian, Hospitality, Identification and Horticulture, and as a judge of flower arrangements for the club and at local flower shows. Among Peggy's other talents, she was an exceptional flower arranger, winning many blue, red, yellow, and white ribbons, judging flower show entries, and leading programs on flower arranging for club members. I personally remember her opening her home to club members for lunch, planning events, and our programs, civic beautification projects, and many, many other occasions. I could go on, but in reality, when you think about the city of Forest Park and the Forest Park Gardeners, you automatically think of Peggy. Thank you, Peggy. From all of your admirers and your dedication to any project you undertook, always with a smile, along with another key to happiness for everyone whose life you've touched over the years.
You know, we have not let Sue out. And I am very happy to introduce Carolyn Sayer, who is president of the Greater Cincinnati Rose Society, or Association, I'm sorry, who will speak on behalf of Sue's accomplishments, followed by Darlene Hatmaker, who is our tour chairman and the other co-photographer, and she will speak about Sue and all of her activities for the Forest Park Gardeners. Carolyn?
Hi everyone, I'm very honored to be here today. Hi everyone, I'm very honored to be here today. It's my pleasure to speak in Sue Smith's behalf. I want to tell you that I was given an honor in your program as being the American Rose Society president. So if I'm ever asked to do that, at least I can say I was that way once. But I am actually the president of our local club, which is the Greater Cincinnati Rose Association, of which Sue is also a member. And being president of that club was only possible because of Sue Smith. For me to be president of that club was only possible because of Sue Smith. She mentored me, she gave me all kinds of knowledge. She was extremely generous with her time. She too has been the president of our society, and president doesn't really give you a title for all the things that she's done for our club. Every single member of our club has been touched by her generosity of time, her knowledge, and her experience. And because Sue has been such a mentor to me, and her information that she has passed on, our club will long be in existence after I'm president. Because it was such an honor to be here today, I wasn't even sure I'd be able to speak because I just wanted Sue to know everything from my heart. I understand. Being a friend to Sue has been my pleasure, and she's filled with my heart with joy. And I'm so glad she's being honored in such a way that all of you and all of us and everyone in this city, when they drive down that street, can see the tree and remember how much Sue has given to this community, to all of us. Thank you very much.
Hello everyone. I'm glad to be here today. I'm going to say a few words for Sue Smith. First, I would like to give a small bio on Sue. Sue has been married 60 plus years. She graduated from Purdue and has a master's in nursing from Yale. She has 4 children, 3 daughters and a son, and they all are avid gardeners. One is a master gardener, 1 specializes in roses, 2 have farms, and between them they grow all types of perennials, annuals, bushes, shrubs, you name it. Wonder where that comes from. I guess you could say this family could dish out a lot of dirt. Sue has loved gardening from an early age. Her parents had a victory garden during World War II. This is probably where her love of gardening started. In the Forest Park Garden Club, she is a charter member. The garden club started in February of 1958, and Sue was right there. She has always been an active member, even now at 85 years of age. She has been president several times, and held quite a few committee chairman positions through the year. She has entered many rose shows and assisted wherever needed and won quite a few awards along the way. For 5 years, she was horticulture helper with the Crohn's Conservatory. She has talked to many garden clubs about various subjects on horticulture. She is a mentor for new rose growers in the Greater Cincinnati Rose Association. This is just to mention a few. As a woman, I admire her strength, her preservation, her loyalty to what she believes in, and especially her love of gardening. Sue has done more demonstrations for our garden club than any member. She is someone you can also go to anytime you have a question or anything you need to ask about gardening. She's always helpful and always there for any of us. At this time, I would like to honor a longtime garden club member, the Perennial Bloom Award. Sue, I'd like to present to you the Perennial Bloom Award.
Friends would like to tell any stories or make any comments about these two wonderful ladies. Would anyone like to say something? Kay?
I've got a question for me. I'm Kay Dorsa. One of the original families, 100 families in Forest Park, as is Peg. I moved in April of 1954, and Peg moved in on Christmas Eve of that year. You don't remember. Over the years, we traveled a lot with Peg and Mel, but Peggy and I, she always ran her ideas by me. I was a member of the Forest Park Gardeners, but I'm not a gardener. It never was, never could be. But what I want to tell you, she ran by her idea of the beautification committee. And Kay Dorsa, who's a cynic, I said, it'll never fly. Do I have egg on my face? I went along with a lot of things. I was like a little follower. She was so brilliant. She did so many things. She was so fun. And for the record, she has 4 children, 2 boys and 2 girls. The girls are here now. The girls grew up with my girls. We have many, many loving memories, but I was always amazed with the ideas she had. I don't know where she got them from, but Forest Park is a heck of a lot better because of Peg Williams.
I started out with my mom in Forest Park Gardeners with an arrangement. It was I grew a beanstalk, and I had a little troll doll, and that was at the library was where the judging was. And so that's my first recollection of Mom in Forest Park Gardeners. But I really didn't get into gardening until I got my own house, but it's all because of my mom. She had a little plot for each of us at her house, which I think she secretly took care of everything, but we thought we were doing a good job on that. I started out with a Mother's Day rose on the corner of our house where my mom and dad still live. But at any rate, I can't be more thankful for the love of gardening that I got from my mom.
Thank you so much. Anyone else have any comments? I want to thank everyone for coming and making this such a special event for two very outstanding women. More specifically, I would like to thank Mayor Johnson, Councilman Lives, Carolyn Sayer, President of the Greater Cincinnati Rose Association, Zach Walker, Waycross Community Media, Harriet Rother and Mary Lou Willis, the co-chairs of the committee that made today happen, Nina Whitaker, who so artistically created our flower arrangements, and the other members of Forest Park Gardeners whose talents and hard work are much appreciated. In closing, I want to thank Peggy and Sue for all they have done for Forest Park and areas beyond through their creativity and the development of their many talents. Thank you again. And now you're all invited to join us for some refreshments and some good conversation.
And welcome back. I am joined once again still with Ray Hodges, City Manager at Forest Park, and of course taking Mike's place, Wright Gwyn, Forest Park Environmental Awareness's guru of all things green.
Okay.
I can give you a title anytime you want.
Yeah, I know. You don't have a shortage of those.
No, I don't. Ray, we brought him on for a special reason, for many reasons, but we could talk for hours with Wright. But Ray, what was our main focus today?
Well, we've had Wright on before,
and
every time he's been very, very informative for the general public. And I think it's because we have so much going on in so many different areas related to environmental, recycling, and that overall awareness of our community, if you will. So I wanted Wright to come on and help us appreciate what has been going on in our refuse collection. That's something we don't talk about every day.
That's true.
But it's something that has to go on every day in the community. So we're glad to have Wright with us today.
Right, and you're exactly right. It affects everybody, every household in Forest Park, every apartment unit.
And you know, most people probably don't even think about it either.
They don't. If they can get it out on the curb and they go to work, they come back, the can's empty, they put it in, everything's good. But there's a lot behind that to make sure that it runs smoothly.
So that's why, of course, we have you to help get things
I
moving.
try. Right.
Well, that's also one of the reasons why Wright's on. We want to report to the community what has been the results. We've been at this for a few years now,
right?
And I think the public deserves to know what are the results, and I believe they'll be very pleased, but we need to get into those kind of details.
Okay. All right,
dive
right in.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do a little background information first. Before 2008, there was no contract.
Okay.
Every household had the responsibility of contracting individually with any waste hauler they wanted. They could call around, find whatever price they wanted, and then contract them. Mm-hmm. And so, 15 years ago, we had 3 different contractors driving around collecting all kinds of stuff. So it was just a mess. It was really a mess. And we found out that about 900 households, since it was kind of a self-regulated type of program, that we found out that about 900 households decided that they didn't really need it. And so that created a problem. Health issues,
there's a
litter
lot
issues,
behind that,
and things of that nature. And the prices were beginning to inch up because there was no control, price control. Everybody was on their own. Mm-hmm. It kept going up each year, 50 cents, 60 cents, but every year, it increases. And it makes a difference. Yeah, it makes a big difference. So I approached Ray, and Ray agreed with me that maybe the time was right to explore the possibility of a contract again. Mm-hmm. So we went out for bid specs, and in 2008, we got some very good prices, and we contracted with Rumpke. So
and that original contract was for how long then?
5 years.
For 5 years, okay.
For 5 years. And we just recently signed a new contract in October of 2013, so last year. So we're in the first year. We've already done 1 year of the new contract. So what we have are numbers that kind of compare what was before the first contract, before we actually contracted, to the numbers that we have now due to the contract. So full service before the contract when everybody was responsible for doing their own thing.
The hodgepodge.
The hodgepodge things. Well, we kind of eliminated. Rumpke basically had the city because all the other two waste haulers couldn't get enough customers.
Okay.
So basically, we had a contract without a contract, with no controls, with no regulation.
Fair.
Right. So that's another good reason why we went to a contract, so we could put maybe some
put
controls
some
and
control.
put more
Yeah.
competitive pricing into the bid process. So before the bid and before the contract was signed, households who were on full service, that means they could put out 32-gallon trash cans a week out on the curb, they were paying $18.81 a month.
Okay.
That was in 2007.
Got it.
In the beginning of 2008. Now they're paying still the same price that they were paying the first year of the first contract, $17. There's been no increase.
And that's something you can't say for many things.
You can't say that for many things. One of the goals in the first contract was to maintain the $17 price, not to increase it. And we were very successful in doing that.
And how are you able to maintain something like that? Again,
We
you would think that there would be a cost increase at some point.
We tried to find out a price that would absorb any kind of increase. It would build up a little bit, and then the wave would go back down the last 2 years of the contract.
All right.
So we'd have a constant, no up and down, and it would flow. And it did. It really flowed. And then in 2013, with the second contract, we got such good numbers that we were able to maintain the $17, which we had not expected to do. And right now, we're looking at the numbers saying, can we push this for another 5 years and make a total of 10 years without increasing? And you got to remember, that's a difference of $1.81 a month. It doesn't sound like much.
No, but when you add it over time.
And you multiply by the number of customers that we're dealing with.
Absolutely.
We're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars. At that point.
Right. And then that's only one service. That's only one thing that we got the numbers on. The other interesting service were container fees.
Okay.
Before the contract in 2007, early 2008, if you wanted to rent a Rumpke container, big brown trash can, 96 gallons, it was $3.50. With the contract, it's $1 a month.
Have you been able to maintain that as well?
It went up a little bit in the second contract, but we had enough reserves to knock that back down to maintain it at $1. So we're trying to get that $1 a month for 10 years as well. So that's $2.50 savings. So now we're $4 a month savings. There's more.
There's more.
There's more. Large items. Those are the bulky things you can't get in your trash can. Sofas.
And we've all seen people try.
Oh, yeah. Lounge chairs, mattresses, things of that nature. Before the contract, $10 a pop.
Okay.
With this contract, large items are the equivalent of a 32-gallon container. So if you haven't reached the 6, so if you don't reach the 6, you've got 5 32-gallon containers worth of trash and garbage, you can put a large item out at no cost. You just have to let them know 48 hours in advance.
I was just going to say, there had to be some
stipulation to that. Let the driver know what he's up against when he drives by the house.
Right, but the typical homeowner never has like 6 32. They might have 1, some may have 2, but the typical.
But there are exceptions to every rule.
Right.
But you're right. You're right. So basically, that goes from $10 a pop for each item to nothing. And then we have, in the middle of the first contract, we realized that some people were not creating 6 32-gallon containers worth of trash and garbage. Why should they pay for full service when they don't need full service?
That's fair, yeah.
So we talked with Rumpke, and this was really nice about Rumpke because we started creating things that weren't in the contract. They did not have to do this or agree to do this. So we kind of talked with them and said, we want to establish a lower cost collection service. Okay, and basically what it is they get to choose between a 35 or a 65-gallon container, not the big one, 96-gallon, that's full service. But the 35 and 65-gallon containers, they're smaller. They get it at no cost.
Okay, so there's your savings
right,
already there.
But they're restricted to that container.
Okay.
They can still put out one large item, though. That's acceptable.
Okay, so that's
and they can
acceptable.
still recycle as much as they want to.
As everyone should.
As everyone should. But that is $13 a month. So if they were on the 1881 and realize they don't need all that, then now down to $13, that's almost $6 a month savings right there.
And of course, I have to ask, a lot of people are probably not aware of these options to go from the full service to the lower tier.
Right. We're trying very hard to promote this and get this out to people. But
and
right.
I believe the message is getting out to more people.
I would
One of
hope
the
so,
reasons
yes.
Wright's on is to help make this more of an awareness for people, but we have a growing number
Right.
of
We
people
have
on
400 households who are on it already, which is good.
That is really good, yeah.
That is good. But I think there are, I would say, probably another 400 who could benefit from it, and we would like to get a hold of those.
And it's particularly good for those that have a relatively small household. Maybe the kids are out of the house, or maybe it's a single-family household, but relatively a small amount of trash being put out every week. They can certainly take advantage of it. Now, there's some people that probably can take advantage of it, but they just want that safety net of having
if
more.
I go
and
extra.
I go over different scenarios. Do you have parties? Do you entertain? What do you do with your leaves in the fall? Do you bag them and put them out on the curb? Well, if you're doing those kind of things, this might not be the program. The eco-tier might not be the program. But if you're actively recycling and generating maybe 1 or 2 garbage bags a week,
you might as well go to this.
It's a possibility.
Sure.
But I want them to look over the whole year, not just, right now I just put out.
And one of the things I want to make sure Wright speaks to is this recycling.
Right.
Because I think we've made great advancements in the number of participants. But Wright, why don't you comment on that?
Well, a lot of that also is because of the contract. Before the contract, we had a selection of 1, the red bin.
The red bin.
And everybody.
But it became synonymous with recycling. Everyone knew.
Everybody knew it's red. You take it out. But people started learning more and more about recycling, so this container wasn't doing the trick. So the first contract, we said, okay, we want the 65-gallon dark green tote with wheels and a lid.
Which is the most wonderful thing.
And a lot of people think it's the best thing
really
since
is.
sliced bread, And so that was a big hit. They just took off. And then in this contract, during those first 5 years, we got comments, that's too big, but this is too small. Can I have a second bin?
Okay.
Kind of thing. And so all of a sudden we said, well, we need to get a medium size. So in the second contract, we went and we put in the specs at 35-gallon. So now we got the 18-gallon red bin. We've got the 35-gallon tote with wheels and a lid, dark green, and a 65-gallon tote with wheels and a lid. And the first year of the second contract, we have done 300, we have ordered and delivered 361 35-gallon totes. That's one a day.
That's one a day, yeah.
Yeah.
If you break it down,
that's one a day in a year.
For the first year.
Yeah. And it was a hit. I mean, they were going out the door right when it was available.
So obviously you're doing your job by making sure that everybody knows this. Now, of course, if you compile all of this with understanding where you may go with maybe the eco tier for your refuse, or maybe wanting to go for a smaller bin. Your number is quite easy to remember, 595 land.
595 land, that's correct.
You can always get that information out to you. Where else can they go? I mean, obviously they can call the city. They can
go to the website. I have a website that hopefully will pop up on the screen. They can,
like magic,
as we speak. But or they can drop by the office. I love talking to people. It kind of breaks up the day. A lot of times they're leaving with stuff that they didn't even know about. So if they have a free moment, they can drop by the municipal building, come on down to the office. I'll be more than happy to answer whatever questions. But what I think Ray was trying to get to was we have an annual recycling survey during the summer. And in 2007, the survey showed that there was 51% of the households, single and duplex households, recycling in Forest Park. 51%. 51. This year, in 2014, the number was 71%.
What an incredible.
I was thrilled. I was thrilled because I knew a lot of people, and a lot of this credit goes to the residents. I can give them the bins.
Sure.
But if they're
it's
not
up
using
to them to make the recycling choice.
Or just to call me. Yeah. And so I give the people of Forest Park a lot of kudos. From that, that's a big jump.
Well, obviously this year was an exceptional year when we're looking at these numbers and statistics. But also you were awarded, the city was awarded as the most innovative in the recycling awards this year for 2014.
Right.
It was a brand new award.
Brand new.
And you were the first
year. We were
first year to do it, and you were the first to do it.
Right.
Does that not speak volumes of what the city is doing when it comes to environmental needs?
The award was presented by the Hamilton County Recycling and Solid Waste District. And the City of Forest Park has been working very closely with them for 20 years. Ever since they got started.
Sure.
They're the powerhouse. They're the ones with all the ideas and can help community. And if any community is watching this and don't know that program, that organization, I really advise them to contact them and find out what resources they have. But they've been very nice. I've been on a couple of their commissions. And I don't think we would have received this contract if it wasn't for the city council as well. Because if I hadn't had the support of the city council or the city staff to help me run some of these things, it wouldn't have happened. So they gave me a lot of freeway to
Ray, you obviously believe that we've always kind of kidded around when Wright's on, keeping the forest in Forest Park. You're keeping that green idea and that green initiative going, and we're seeing wonderful results. This is
fantastic results. The award that you just spoke about goes to the city of Forest Park. But Wright is rather modest. He is the key person for the city that's driving this program. He's done a fantastic job. He has taken this to new levels from anything we could have conceived of. So I thought this was a great opportunity to also bring Wright on and just publicly thank him for the service that he's done and the award-winning program he's developed for Forest Park.
Absolutely.
Well, and it couldn't, Waycross, community media, that y'all have shown so many things that we have produced, the Environmental High IQ Bowl,
so many different. We've had you on the show for a number of times. We've gone out with the tire recycling.
You've helped me with the residents. We've even interviewed individual residents.
Absolutely.
And put them on TV. I mean, without this is a wonderful resource, and I can't imagine not working in a community that has this.
Right, but everything has come together as a team.
Absolutely.
Right. And as Wright commented, there are different areas of our municipal operation that has nothing to do with this except that we've made it a part of it. So you got public works helping out, you got recreation, you got every department helping out in a manner that you don't typically find. But you find it here, and it's working for us. And again, I think the award, the results, the statistics, they speak for themselves that there's a great job being done in this environmental recycling refuse collection area. And again, a great contribution of this service is derived from Wright's hard efforts.
I remember, and I know the time is short, but I remember I had a second interview for this job 25 years ago. And the second interview was with Ray. I'd never really had an interview with a city manager, so I didn't know what to expect. But I do remember one of his questions. He says, "How can you integrate your program with the other departments?" I went, "Oh, whoa!" I said, "Think." and I walked away thinking, "That's a great question."
Sure.
So hopefully I answered it well, but I think what we're doing is we're doing exactly what Ray said. It's a team effort. Everybody, all the pieces are kind of coming into place, and it's a real joy to watch it work.
And here we are 20 years later with everything working to that level of ability.
And the last thing I would want to offer, because it is a reflection of the overall organization, we are a relatively small staffed organization.
Absolutely.
We're doing, I think, a fantastic job, but how many people do you have working in your department on a full-time basis, right? Thank you. It is right. And that's the way it is. But he's able to accomplish so much because of the teamwork and the support that is a part of this organization. So again, it's working, but it's working with a relatively small staff.
I can't end it any better. This is the best way to do it. The best way to say is, Wright, thank you. Absolutely, thank you.
I can say the same thing to you.
Absolutely, and hopefully when we come back to look at these numbers 5 years from now, 4 years now at this point, at the end of this contract, it will be very interesting to see the statistical data to compare 5 year to 10 year. That would be great to do. Ray, what wonderful guests to have during this fall season. So thank you for bringing us on, and of course, thanks for coming on as well.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you having us on and
Absolutely.
taking time out of your overall busy schedule to make time for talking with Forest Park.
Absolutely. We always have the time, and I want to thank you. And, of course, I want to thank all of you for joining us as well. This has been, of course, Talking with Forest Park, giving you the opportunity to talk to those in the know in your city. Thank you very much. And, of course, if you would like to be a part of all of this, it's easy to do. 825-2429. Join our volunteer staff. We'd love to have some of the smiling faces coming up behind our cameras and helping you talk with Forest Park. Have a great evening. Have a happy holidays, and we'll see you soon.